This week on American Airgunner, we'll be sitting down at the round table to discuss tips for pest control. Then we'll be taking things outdoors to talk about our favorite airgun targets. Godfather of airguns will be sharing a piece of airgun history. All this coming up right now. Hey, welcome to another round table. We're here with Rick, Jim, and the Godfather of airguns. Today we are talking about pest control, nuisance animals. Let's start off with this. We get questions about it all the time. When can you shoot a pest animal? When's it legal?
Depends on where you live.
Okay.
And it depends on what it's doing.
Let's start with where you live.
Yeah, okay, state to state, they have different laws. I mean, there are states, in most states, they consider things like English sparrows, feral pigeons, rats, they're open game.
Okay.
One thing on that, check what your town allows.
Right.
Because
Can you discharge
in our town, boy,
park
it's and even in Arizona, it's getting really sticky because a town may have a law, but the state may have a law that specifically protects the rights of the citizens in that town, even if the town passes a law. I mean, it can be very, very tricky, so definitely find out what you can do.
The other thing that's really interesting about the designation is that you can get an animal that's a game animal.
Like what?
Like a squirrel.
Okay.
A tree squirrel is probably one of the most popular game animals in the country. In most states, it's a game animal. But if it's chewing in your through the insulation in your attic or the wires on your air conditioner, or it's damaging crops, then it becomes a pest. So the first thing is to know what the laws are, to know what a pest animal is, what constitutes a pest animal. Some states you have to get a permit, a depredation permit, before you remove the animal. So you can't just, you see a crow coming in, you can't just shoot it because it's eating your corn. You have to have a depredation permit to remove it.
Okay, so let's say someone's found out what the state regulations are, they've gotten all the permits, and they've figured out what a pest animal is in that area. What's the best way to go out and do some pest control?
It depends again, because
Dadgummit!
Well, at least he's on it.
Yeah, right. You don't get to answer anymore, Jim. I want someone to give me some answers.
okay, here's the thing. If you have an industrial building,
Okay.
and you've got pigeons in it, and pigeons are making a mess everywhere, they're fouling everything, you'll go in and remove them as a pest, but you're shooting inside of a building. So you want a lower power rifle. You don't want to shoot through the animal and punch a hole through the roof. Yeah.
Right. So what are some of the best types of guns to use in that scenario?
I like a lot of the 12 foot-pound Springers are a good one. The PCPs that you can dial down the velocity.
You take like the air arms that's suppressed and a 22 and just dial that right down.
In Spokane, they had pigeons downtown defecating on all the cars. So at 3 in the morning, the town was netting the trees, and guys were going under the nets and killing all the birds in the tree.
Now that's something that happens, right? There's these like verminators and stuff that you write about this, right?
Right.
Yeah.
What's the deal with these guys?
Well, it's Tom's saying, in certain towns where they have crows in huge numbers, crows come in to roost, pigeons are a problem. They'll use air guns because they can do it quietly, or they'll go into stores and industrial buildings where they're making a mess. But they usually do it at night. They do it with silenced guns. It's all very, very
Politically
hushed.
correct.
Right. It's very hushed. But then you can also use air guns for prairie dogs. I go out prairie dog shooting, but I go to the ranchers' areas where they have paddocks, where they have animals, where they have equipment, and I shoot the prairie dogs in that area because they won't let a center fire go there, but they're happy to have me go with an air gun and clear them out.
Right.
Well, didn't you just tell me about knocking off a bunch of pigeons that were pooping on cattle feed?
Yeah, we were at a dairy farm in Arizona. Those birds are in that tens of thousands. The sky darkens for 2 minutes when these flights of pigeons, Eurasian doves, which are another non-indigenous species. So we go out there and shoot them, and the farmer loves it because we might shoot 300 or 400 in a day, maybe 500, but that hardly puts a dent. But us just going around keeps the birds flying and keeps them out of the area. So they really welcome the air guns coming in. They don't want us, they've got cattle, they've got workers, they've got equipment, they got buildings. They don't want us shooting anything that's going to damage those, but the air guns are perfect.
I'd like to say something that's on my mind. People who use air guns to discipline animals, that is the worst thing in the world. You can't discipline your neighbor's dog with a BB gun. You don't shoot at an animal with an air gun to scare it away. It's not right. You're either going to kill the animal or don't use it.
I agree. That's what airsoft and paintball's for. I mean, no. I'm sorry.
There you go. So you can use some types of guns for discipline, just not air
I'm
guns.
sorry. I agree with your point.
All right, well, so guys, there you go. I mean, most important thing, if you're doing pest control, and we all have the situation, know the laws, know the regulations, and 100% please be safe no matter what you decide to do. That's it for this roundtable. If you have any questions or topics you want us to discuss, go to AmericanAirgunner.com and let us know. More American Airgunner coming up right after this. When we return, Tom Gaylord, the godfather of air guns, will be sharing something pretty cool from his never-ending air gun collection. All right, it's time for one of my favorite segments we do here sometimes on American Airgunner called This Old Air Gun with the godfather of air guns, of course. You know why I like this so much?
Why?
Is because I never know what we're doing. This is pretty much your segment, and I'm just here to introduce it.
Isn't that fun?
I love it. So what on earth am I looking at today?
I got something cool for you, Rusty.
I can't imagine.
Back in 1888, the Plymouth Iron Windmill Company was having trouble. They couldn't sell their iron windmills. They were very expensive. Farmers wanted wooden windmills, and farmers didn't have much money anyhow.
Sure.
They were on the brink of going out of business until they discovered a BB gun that was built by a local guy by the name of Clarence Hamilton. And the president of the Plymouth Iron Windmill Company, when he saw this thing, he said, "Clarence, that's a daisy," which was the vernacular of the time.
Yeah.
But it gave the gun its name. And that's the
Daisy.
founding. Yeah. So what I have for you today is a replica, but it's more than a replica because it's made by Daisy.
Okay.
I actually have a new version of the Daisy, the original wire stock BB gun that they made in 1888.
And this is where Daisy, that we all know, came
Yes,
from.
that's right. That's right. This gun was made in about 2007.
Okay.
And there were 1,000 of them made, and it was sold to members of the Daisy Museum, which I am. And then the ones that were left over were sold to the public in general for $300. If you had a real Daisy like this, it would be $2,500 to $3,500. That's just for an ugly one.
Right.
But if it were the first model, like this one is, it would be $10,000.
So, Tom, I can actually contribute to this story. I have been to the NRA National Museum, Rifle Museum,
Right.
and got a chance to hold with white gloves the original Daisy BB gun that looked just like this, but obviously a lot older and less put together.
And worth a lot more money.
And worth a lot more money. And I asked if they could shoot it, and they said no. But I asked.
I'm going to change that today. I'm
Really?
going to let you shoot it, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, but before we do, let me show you a few more things here. Daisy actually went out of their way to make this as much like the original as they could.
Okay.
A couple of things are not correct. Some of the dimensions are a little more robust because the original broke very easily. And Daisy put a magnet in the barrel of this one to hold the steel BB. Back in 1888, they were shooting larger lead BBs, and the barrel was tapered on the inside, so they drop it in, it would just stop.
Okay.
So there's a little bit of difference. But they went to the process of winding the piston with candle wicking, which is exactly how the original was made. So this thing is that original.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Candle wicking.
Candle wicking. I'm talking about just the string that comes out of a candle. That's what's around the piston to be the seal.
To be the seal.
That's the thing you oil when you oil the gun.
Got it.
Let's put our safety glasses on and we'll go through this. And I got something else to show you while we're at it.
All right.
These are Umarex BBs, which are very accurate in all BB guns. The problem with BBs, folks, is they go everywhere. So,
Don't I know?
I have this flashlight whose other side, backside, is a very powerful magnet. And look what happens. There's all your BBs, well, except for that one. Right there.
I mean, this is why you are the godfather of air guns.
Yeah.
This and this.
Pull them off one at a time, you know, it's real easy.
All right.
Okay, now,
So I've got my BB, and
got
I've
your
got my
BB.
awesome 1888 gun.
let's load the gun first.
Okay.
So tip it up,
Yep.
drop a BB down the muzzle, and listen for a little tiny click.
Okay. Heard it?
Okay.
A little magnet in there. So
All
that's
right.
just hold. Okay.
Take your rear sight and just pull back until it clicks. That's it, it's cocked. Push her forward. Now I gotta tell you,
Okay.
the trigger pull is like 18 pounds. No kidding. You're gonna think you're gonna break the gun, but we've got a target just aimed center of mass.
I love that we have targets in the cabin.
Isn't that neat? You wanna do it again?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
You know how it works now.
I feel like I'm shooting the original. Goodness gracious, you're not lying with this trigger.
Yeah, it's hard.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, that is, thank you for this. Because when you first opened, I was like, I've seen this gun before, thinking we were repeating something, but I forgot that it was like the original that I saw at the, because when do I get to contribute to this old air gun?
Yeah, well, you did now.
Man, I feel like you should have given me white gloves too, so I didn't get so many fingerprints on it, but
It's
this
okay,
is,
I'll wipe it down. It's brand new.
this is awesome. Thank you so much. So can people out there, can they buy this?
Not anymore. You can buy them used, but you can't buy new ones anymore. They're all sold out.
Okay.
I paid $300. They're beginning to ratchet up to around $500 now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, sir.
If you can find one.
Always a pleasure.
You bet.
Tom Gaylord, the godfather of air guns, right there with this old air gun. Stay with us. More American Air Gunner coming up after this. When we return, the guys and I will be taking the table outdoors as we talk about and demonstrate some of our favorite targets for air guns. Guys, how we doing today?
Great. Wonderful day.
I'm, of course, joined by the usual suspects. We have the godfather of air guns right here, Tom Gaylord, Mr. Jim Chapman, our resident hunter, and Rick Usler, our gun critic. Guys, welcome back.
Thank
Good to be here.
What I understand is trigger time. I like to go out and shoot and plink and knock down targets for as long as I can. I love to shoot stuff. So today we're going to talk about some of our favorite targets. So let's start with you guys. Rick, we'll start with you down there. What are some of your favorite targets? And when you're looking for a target, what are you looking for?
It depends on what I'm doing. If I'm testing a gun, I want something that really lets me see accuracy, so something like this works really well. You can actually get nice clean holes with this.
Okay.
If I'm just out plinking and maybe at range and I want to see distance, these are really cool.
The shoot and sees.
Yeah. The other thing I've really got into, because I have an 8-year-old that loves to shoot, Richwood Casey has come out with these, what's called pre-game targets.
Okay.
Space theme, you shoot it. There's all kinds of different things. Every time you hit something, it changes color.
Okay. Guys, who knew Rick Usler was into fun? I thought he was only about accuracy. What do you look for when you're looking for a target when you're shooting?
I look for something that bleeds, breaks, or falls.
Okay.
I'll let Jim talk about the bleeding stuff.
Right.
But the falling stuff, remember 35mm film? Probably not. It was before your time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when I was a kid,
I've seen that.
we took pictures that you had to take to the store.
Okay.
And it came in cans like this. The film did, I mean, not
Sure.
the pictures, obviously. Those things, when you hit them, they go flying. And I got them all over the place. Yeah, I've been collecting them for years. I got them all over the place. So we're going to go
Are
today.
you a hoarder?
Yes, I'm a hoarder. When I want to record this, and we saw this before, remember at the SHOT Show?
Yes.
We saw this. This is called the Right Now range.
Okay.
It's a cardboard box. You put it up. It's got targets on it already. Plus, it's got places for apples and tin cans and stuff like that.
Now, Jim, do you shoot at targets?
Yeah, I do, but usually I'm using it to prepare for going out hunting. I've got a range set up, an indoor range at 20 yards.
Yeah.
And I use a lot of the targets that you've been talking about. And when I do longer range stuff, I really like the targets that have high visibility. But I like to shoot more reactive targets.
Yeah, animals.
I hunt. Yeah, I hunt. I set these up. When I'm going out on a shoot,
Yeah.
I'll set these up at 25, 50, 75, and 100, sometimes 125 yards, and I'll work on them. They're the right size. I can see them. They light up when I...
And they're the shooting seats,
they're
which
the
is
right-
great.
And they're the right size, right.
I'm even going to do you one better. I mean, look, I've got a squirrel here for you. See, there it even shows you where to hit, just in
I
case
can
you
hit
weren't
that.
curious, didn't know where to hit. They're right there for the
I
headshot.
will say that's probably the biggest squirrel I've ever seen.
Right, that's true. Well, listen, some of us need that extra help. Here we go. Here's a turkey. I know you do a lot of turkey hunting.
That's great.
This tells you where to shoot them if you actually see one. Right, that's good. I mean, look. I mean, the thing is, when it comes to targets, they have everything. I'll tell you guys, when it comes to shooting targets, for me, I have just one thing. I'm very simple. One thing.
I bet you know what it is.
I just need it to explode. That's it. Right? The mega booms for me, this is the easiest because you pump them up with air. With typically, if you've got your, you've got your hand pump with your
Bicycle pump.
gun out here anyway. You pump them up. You get good pressure. When you hit these things, they're filled with powder. Boom! smoke, excitement.
I believe I'd like to see that.
Wouldn't you?
Yes, I would.
You know what's the worst part about talking about targets?
What's that?
Talking about targets.
Okay.
Shall we do some shooting?
Sure.
Let's do it, boys. All right, boys, you ready to shoot some targets?
Let's do it.
There's obviously 1,000 things over there, so may the best man win.
I know the target we're all going to go for.
Yeah, you're gonna try to hit my target, the one exploding target, aren't you? Fire when ready.
Oh, that's nice. What did you pop? Did you put one right through the center of that?
I did.
You see that? You see the black target on the right?
Yes.
Do you guys see it? You ready?
Boom! That's what I'm talking about. Boom! That a baby.
Problem solved.
All right, guys. Obviously, this segment could last forever. So, thank you, guys. Hey, listen, if you want some more information on these targets, where you can get them, go to AmericanAirgunner.com. We're going to keep shooting. Next week on American Air Gunner, we're back in Las Vegas for another special edition of the Round Table. I'll be reviewing the Umarex Next Generation APX. We've decided to go ahead and talk about our favorite air guns as well. All this and more coming up next week on American Air Gunner.
That's me.
Oh, is that your iPad or your...
That is my bag.
I remember my first time on set. So you gotta always be careful of your ringtone.
My wife, she's shopping in El Paso, right?
No, we're still rolling. We're not,
shopping
hold
at
on, tell the story later. Yeah, okay.